Okay, so we're looking at solving quadratics again, but these are special kind of quadratics. So you can see up here, you've got x squared take away 49, and if you watch the grade 5 playlist, you'll be familiar with something called the difference of two squares, which is exactly what this thing is here. You've literally got two numbers, so you've got something in the form, and let's go and do it in blue, where you've got a number squared, so we can go and call that a and then squared. In this case, that number is x, and you're squaring it, and you're taking away the difference. Your second number is 49, which is 7 squared, okay, but the general format as take away b squared. So this here is called the difference, so difference meaning take away of two squares, two square numbers. And we've learned previously that to factorize this, it will go into the form of a double bracket like this, and it's going to be a plus b, and your second bracket is going to be a take away b. So this is like what we need to know in order to do this video, because to solve this quadratic, you've got to be able to factorize it first of all. Now, knowing this, it's going to go into a pair of double brackets, so one bracket and then a second bracket, and we're going to put it equal to 0. So what this is just saying is what times what gives you x squared? It's going to be x, okay, and it's always a and a at the start, so always x, and then similarly, what times what gives you 49, and it's 7, so it's going to be b and then b, but just be careful here, one of them is plus and one of them is negative. And of course, you could check this by expanding it back out again. If you go and do x by x and you go through your FOIL method, okay, you're going to see, well, x times x gives you x squared, x times by negative 7 gives you minus 7x, 7 times by x gives you plus 7x, okay, and then 7 times by minus 7 gives you negative 49, and importantly, these are going to cancel, they give you 0, and you've got x squared take away 49, which is what you've got up there. So it's just spotting that this is a special quadratic in difference of two squares form. And then this part is the same as the previous videos, right? You've got two equations here that you can go and solve, and that's going to what we need to go and do now. So the first one, you've got x plus 7 being equal to 0, and the second one, you've got x take away 7 being equal to 0. Now these are a simple one-step equations that we can solve. You can just go and take away 7 on the first one, because that's the opposite of adding 7. And x is going to be equal to 0 take away 7, which is negative 7. And this one, you can go and add 7 to both of the sides of the equation and say that x is equal to 0 plus 7, which gives you 7. And that is your second solution. Okay, so you've got two solutions to the equation, and they are your answers. And again, just to show you what this really means in context, if you solve a quadratic, you found the two x solutions where the quadratic goes through the x-axis, so that's at the point 7 and also at the point minus 7, so something that looks a little bit like this as a sketch, and that is what you've done here. Okay, but that's like grade 8 content, just showing you what's happening in context. Okay, so you can now pause the video, you can try that your turn, and then we'll go on to some more examples. So again, right, if you know that this up here, you've got the difference of two squares, okay, you can go and put this into a pair of double brackets and say it is equal to 0. So again, it's going to be x the first bracket, x on the second bracket, and the square root of 144 is 12, so it's going to be 12 and then 12, and it's always plus and then minus, so plus and minus, and there we go. And then from here, you go and solve each of these equations here, and you've probably got the format already. It's just going to be minus 12 and then plus 12, but we'll go through it because it's always a good thing to do to show the working. It's going to be x plus 12 equals to 0, and the second one, you've got x minus 12 equals to 0. So now we can go and take away 12 from both sides here, because then these eliminate, so x is going to be equal to minus 12, and over here we can go and add 12 to both parts of the equation, they cancel, so x is going to be equal to 0 plus 12, which gives you a 12. And these here, x minus 12, x is positive 12, are your solutions to the equation. Okay, now let's look at another my turn, your turn. In fact, let's look at some two more my turn, your turns, and that's going to be it for the video. Now, this one here, it is still in the difference of two square format. Okay, you've still got something squared. Okay, you've still got something squared, take away another number squared. So it's still going to go into the form a plus b and a minus b. Just this time, the first part, you kind of got like two parts to it, but it works in the same way. So we know it's going to go into a pair of double brackets. There we go. And the root of 25 is going to be 5, and the root of x squared is going to be x. So it's going to be 5x here, and also 5x over here. And the root of 81 is going to be plus 9 over here, and also you've got minus 9 over here. And that is in factorized form. And then we can just go and solve each of these equations, okay? And this time they're two-step equations, but nothing we can't handle. So you've got 5x plus 9 being equal to 0, and you've got 5x minus 9 being equal to 0. Let's work through it by taking away 9 over here and then taking away 9. These cancel, so 5x is equal to 0 take away 9, which is minus 9. You've got 5 times x, let's go and divide by 5, and let's go and divide by 5. So you're left over with x being equal to, leave it as a fraction, that's fine, as minus 9 over 5. That is your first solution, okay? And this one is just going to be the positive version, but we'll work through it again, okay, just to show you. You can add 9 here, and you can add 9 over here. These are going to cancel, and you get 5x being equal to 0 plus 9, which is 9, and that's going to divide through by 5 and divide through by 5. These cancel, so x is equal to 9/5, and you can just see it's the positive version of the first answer, and there we go. Okay, so this one, pause the video and give this one a go, but the same sort of idea again. And we can recognize again that 100 is a square number, so we can put it into a pair of double brackets, and we can go and say, well, the root of 100 is 10, and the root of x squared is going to be x, so it's going to be 10x at the start of both brackets, and the root of 25 is 5, so we've got 5 at the end of brackets, and always plus, and then the second one is going to be negative. And then we just go through and solve the two equations that we've got here. And let's go and do those. So the first one, you've got 10x add 5 is going to be equal to 0. And the second one, 10x take away 5 is going to be equal to 0. Now, to go to that plus 5, let's go and take away 5 from here and take away 5 here. They cancel. So 10x is going to be equal to 0 take away 5, which is minus 5. Divide through by 10. Divide through by 10. So x is going to be equal to minus 5 over 10, which is correct, but actually you can simplify this because minus 5 over 10 is the same thing as minus 1 over 2 by dividing top and bottom there by 5. So that is your answer. Okay, x is equal to minus a half or minus 0.5. And then over here, right, the solution is going to be the positive version of it, but we'll work through it again. So you can go and add 5 over here and add 5 over here. These cancel, so 10x is going to be equal to 0 plus 5, which gives you 5. Divide through by 10 now, and divide through by 10. So x is going to be equal to 5 over 10, which is the same thing as 1 over 2. And that is your solution for this one. So x is equal to 1 over 2. Okay, just on to the last one again. It's just recognizing again that this is still in the difference of 2 square format, but just this time the number part comes first and the x squared comes second, but it's still in the form a squared take away b squared, okay, because you've got something squared, 2 squared take away 4x squared. So again, it's going to go into the format a plus b and then a take away b over here. And let's go and put our brackets out, so bracket, 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 and then bracket, and put it equals to 0. Now, the square root of 4 is going to be 2, so 2 and 2, and then it's going to be plus and minus in here. And the square root of 16 is 4, and the square root of 16, of course, is still 4. And then the square root of x squared is going to be x, and then x also goes over here. So just this time, the number part goes first with the x part going second in the bracket, okay? And then we just go through and we solve the equations. So let's go and look at the first one. We've got 2 plus 4x being equal to 0, and we've got 2 minus 4x being equal to 0. Now we're trying to find x here. It's in a bit of a it's in a differently rearranged way, not rearranged, written differently, but with the same idea here. To get rid of that 2, let's go and take away 2 from both sides and take away 2. Okay, these cancel. You're left over with 4x being equal to 0 take away 2, which is minus 2. Divide both sides by 4. Divide by 4. So x is equal to minus 2 over 4, which we can write as minus 1 over 2, because dividing top and bottom there by 2, you get minus a half. So that is your solution, x being equal to minus a half. And then we know through just experience, right, it's the same thing going on again, but just it's going to be the opposite sign. But let's work through it by taking away 2 over here and taking away 2. These cancel. You get minus 4x left over being equal to 0 take away 2 minus 2. Let's divide both sides by minus 4 and divide by minus 4. These cancel. X is equal to negative 2 divided by negative 4. Okay, it's going to be positive 2 over 4. The negatives go away, which is the same thing, of course, as 1 over 2. And you can see that you get the same solution, but just with a different sign. Okay, last but not least, you can pause the video and give this one a go. But the same idea again, right? You can recognize that you've got 11 squared here and you've got 3x all squared here. So we can go and put this into a pair of double brackets, put it equal to 0. And we know that 11 times 11 is 121. So at the start, it's always plus and then minus. And then you've got 3 times 3x squared gives you 9x squared. so 3x and then 3x. And of course, again, you've got your two equations here that you can go and solve. So the first one and the second one. Let's go through it. So we've got 11 plus 3x being equal to 0, and 11 minus 3x being equal to 0. Now, let's go and take away 11 from both sides here. Take away 11, take away 11. There you go. So 3x is equal to 0, take away 11, which is minus 11. Divide both sides by 3 and divide by 3. These cancel. So x is equal to minus 11 over 3 is your first solution. There we go. And then the second solution, okay, same thing, let's go and work through it, but it's going to be just a negative of the answer. They cancel. Minus 3x is equal to minus 11 divided by negative 3, divided by negative 3. X is equal to, if you're dividing by two negatives, they cancel, and you just get 11 over 3. And that is your solution. Okay, x is 11 over 3. And that's it. Okay, so that's solving quadratics in different of two squares formats, and thank you for watching.